It's January 5th, 2026. We just closed Monday's trading session, and we're going to go through the preparation for Tuesday, starting with QQQ and SPY. Pretty obvious to see here that on the weekly we're very contracted. I wanted to make the point of this lesson to zoom out, to look at the big picture, and the weekly chart really helps me do that, especially from a contraction standpoint. I can really see, not that you can't see it on the daily, but here on the weekly you can really see just how contracted this range is that we're putting in here on QQQ. We haven't seen something like this going back. We saw something here, pretty contracted, 2 days, inside days on the weekly, right there. You don't see that formation very often. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at three very small candles trading within this range of this candle right here. And on SPY, it's even more defined. Trading inside this candle. This one's really small range. And of course, this week we've only got 1 day of data. So it's going to be a very narrow range. But today was a narrow range day. Let's get into the daily. We'll break down the candle from today. Bulls tried to push it higher above the previous week, but we returned down just to kind of chill out on the day and not finish with much of a gain. Maybe a slight loss on SPY. All in all, that's nothing to trip out over. It's healthy stuff. And we look we look pretty powerful here around the 50 MA. We look pretty powerful. SPY and QQQ look strong. It's safe to get in there and look at some of these swing trades when we know the broad market's pretty stable. EMR, of course, the first one to look at. Emerson Electric. Couldn't ask for much more today out of that 50 MA compression. We started to shape up. We started to form that kind of, I don't know how to describe it. We're shaping up. We're starting to tilt up here, and we're using the momentum to try for this fresh high break. These are the type of setups that look for continuation of the highs and even past. So safe to take a little bit off your position after a 5% move. That's a great move. But the big picture here is to target these highs at 150 on EMR with the rest of the position. So that's a great looking chart. That's one that I'll go back and study all the time. Just look at the range here. Look at the way it bounces back every time. So constructive as we start to shape up into that big inflection point of 140. Beautiful chart, beautiful trade. Great start to the year with a trade like that. ASTS, I brought it up yesterday. I want to get into it even more because that candle today was almost as strong as Friday. Volume was more impressive. We moved from 81 to 91, a 10-point move on the day, following a 15-point move the day before. 25 points, over 20% in the stock, over 25% in the stock in 2 days. So that's incredible. What do we want to see here? We want to see this thing go sideways. Anything digesting between 90 and 80, extremely healthy. That's the action we want. That's where we want to get a position in ASTS. Over 100, this thing has potential to blow off. 15-20% move wouldn't be out of the question. This thing is powerful, ASTS, as it starts to shape up here in this ascending triangle looking pattern. Want to see it go sideways? Hopefully a couple days, maybe 3 days, 90 to 80, anything within that in the near future, that's a buy for me. It's just a really good looking chart on ASTS in a hot theme. Continuing with that theme, you've got FLY, Firefly Aerospace. We're rolling here with the aerospace and defense theme. It's hot. Look for the best charts in the sector. Take these trades when the market is stable. And Fly, I like the way that it's a recent IPO. We've really washed out hard from 60 all the way down to 15. Now the chart's starting to get a little life, not just on the volume, but also in the candles in the daily range. I like the kind of like we just looked at there on ASTS, strong move, a 6-point move on a $25 stock in 2 days. Volume's good. Chart looks pretty powerful. Similar, like kind of a head and shoulders looking pattern here. But this thing could get explosive. It's also one I'm not looking to get super aggressive in options. This is probably one I'll build out a common share position. Again, if we can get a couple sideways days before we start to shape up for that 27.5 break, that's when I would look to really capitalize on a trade like this. No position yet. I like the look, and I will be keeping tabs as it develops. Now, a couple other charts here. Those were the top 4 I wanted to go over. Was Fly, ASTS, Emerson Electric, and then QQQ and SPY. Our other swings that we're keeping tabs on, one is Lunar in that same aerospace and defense name. This is one now, it still looks good. It still looks good for continuation. The risk reward isn't as enticing to me here as it was back at 15. With that being said, I'm still looking for some consolidation. I'm still looking to get my feet into this one at some point. Reddit, again, I said over 250. I like this for a day trade. I could visualize a speed up of 5 to 10 points in something like this chart right here on Reddit. Really strong, powerful looking shape up here as we approach this wick high of 250 in this previous resistance. How I like to trade these, let's say Reddit gaps up tomorrow to 250 and opens there. That's not a trade for me. Just because it opens at 250 does not give me a trade. It probably gives me more of a reason not to trade. Okay, but if it runs up, say it runs, 3 points, and then it pulls back and it forms that curl right above the previous, right above the open, or maybe it breaks out on the first 20 minutes and then it pulls back right above the 15-minute candle, and I'm buying it on like an ABC continuation. That's how I like to trade those. So Reddit looks pretty strong. Over 250 for a day trade. Look to capitalize. Other than that, look for contraction between 250 and 240 to add to the position. It's a really good looking chart. The last one I want to talk about is SNDK. SanDisk. The short squeeze of all short squeezes last year. This thing is still pumping. And don't for a second think that you're going to jump in front of this and short it. There's people that will. Like, what are you doing? Running in front of this and shorting this. This is a train. This is a cargo train with 50 fucking cars on it moving down the railroad, bro. You don't want to jump in front of this. You could lose your job, like some people lost their job over SNDK being over leveraged to the downside. So I'm not looking to short this right here. This is a really powerful looking setup as we curl up into the all-time high of 290. Anything contracting within this candle right here, Friday's candle, that 270 range to 240 range, anything contracting within there is fair game for a long trade. SNDK, the options, the premiums are crazy. The spreads are crazy. You got to really manage your risk here on something like SNDK if you're going to trade it. And I would probably advise just picking up the common shares if you can afford to. But not here. The gap's up tomorrow to 290. There'll be a lot of eyes on SNDK for a blow off again. Another big candle to the upside. So SNDK, I'd like to see it again contract within Friday's candle. 270 to 240 would be a great spot to pick up some shares here in SNDK and keep kind of a tight risk on it. Below, here it starts to kind of lose shape. Below that 238. Give you guys a little closer view here on the chart. Yeah, below these candles right here, especially this wick, looks like about 240 or 225. Yeah, I would not want to be in a trade under there. But look at this. I mean, look at the setup here. The stair step, the contraction above the recent highs, the huge candle with the volume injection, and then today more volume, strong hold of that of the dip on the day. SNDK is strong. Don't short it. Okay, that's what I got for today, guys. Happy trading for Tuesday. And looking at Tuesday from the Forex Factory standpoint, it's the only day of the week we don't have any news in the futures markets. So for me, that's a really light day. I won't even trade. I really doubt I even trade. Today there was no price action worth trading. I didn't place a single trade in futures today. So we'll look to capitalize on the end of the week on our funded accounts and in futures. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, lots of red folder, lots of high impact news, and I expect some formations to appear that allow us to take some trades in futures. But until then, like I said, be safe. Don't short setups like this. I don't care who tells you to. I don't care what guru you find online. He's telling you to short. You want to buy it all. You want to sell at all-time highs. No, don't do that shit. That's how people lose their jobs. All right, and in this game, our number one goal is to preserve our capital. Okay, we have to preserve capital. We have to manage our capital, and we have to take smart trades with good risk management. So peace, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow.